The Galactic Security Council's emergency session began with a recording that would forever change interstellar diplomatic relations. On the quantum projection screen, a human engineer stood before a failing quantum core that threatened to collapse 3 solar systems. The recording came from the security feeds of the Proxima VI research station, considered the most advanced facility in known space. The containment field is at 2% and falling, an automated voice announced in the background. The gathered alien diplomats watched in horror as the human engineer, Sarah Chen, studied a holographic display of the deteriorating core. Multiple evacuation alerts blared through the station's speakers, while other species fled to escape pods. According to all known physics, the core's already past the point of no return. A Zixtal scientist's translated voice echoed through the chamber. We must abandon the station immediately. The human smiled, that terrifying expression that had become infamous across the galaxy, and said those words that made every non-human in the council chamber instinctively retract their sensory organs. This will be fun. High Counselor Vex Thor, a towering crystalline being, paused the recording. What followed, they announced to the chamber, defied every safety protocol, physics law, and rational thought process in our database. The recording resumed. Sarah Chen proceeded to manually realign the quantum core's matrix using nothing but a modified maintenance drone, and what she later described as basic geometry and a bit of luck. The process involved her climbing into the core's housing, a space so radioactive it should have killed any organic being instantly. The human not only survived, Vex Thor continued, their crystalline form vibrating with distress, but succeeded in stabilizing the core through a method our finest scientists still cannot fully explain. When asked about the astronomical odds against success, she replied, and I quote our translation matrix directly, "That's what made it fun." The chamber erupted in concerned murmurs. Ambassador Kyleth, representing the collective of rational thought, raised 3 of their appendages. This is not an isolated incident. We have documented 732 similar events in the past standard year alone. In each case, a human declared an impossible situation fun before proceeding to achieve what our probability matrices deemed impossible. A holographic display materialized in the chamber center, showing statistics that made several council members emit distress pheromones. Humans saying this will be fun had preceded the first successful navigation of the Maelstrom Nebula, the taming of the notorious apex predators of Rigel VI, and the peaceful resolution of the millennium-long quantum rights dispute between the Silicon Collective and the Carbon Coalition. We must address this, declared High Counselor Vex Thor. The human capacity to derive pleasure from situations that any rational being would flee is disrupting the very fabric of our civilized society. Their success rate defies statistical analysis. From the Human Observation Gallery, Dr. James Morrison watched the proceedings with poorly concealed amusement. As Earth's xenopsychology expert, he understood something the Council didn't. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their physical capabilities. It was their ability to face the impossible with a smile and a sense of adventure. The Council's next action, however, surprised even him. High Counselor Vex Thor activated the Chamber's formal declaration protocol. By unanimous decision, we hereby establish the Fun Prevention Protocol. Any human utterance of the phrase, "This will be fun," or its linguistic variations, shall henceforth trigger immediate emergency containment procedures within a 50 light-year radius. Dr. Morrison couldn't help himself. He stood up and addressed the Council. You realize this just made everything we do about 10 times more interesting, right? The Chamber's emergency shields activated instantly. Through the chaos that followed, Morrison caught sight of his colleague, Sarah Chen, attending the session via quantum projection. She was grinning that familiar grin. "Oh," she said, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's acoustic dampeners, "this is definitely going to be fun." The council meeting ended in the fastest evacuation in galactic history, setting what humans would later describe as a fun new record. As the chamber emptied, Morrison sent a message to Earth's diplomatic court. The galaxy just gave humanity a superpower. Every time we say this will be fun, entire star systems will go into lockdown, requesting permission to have some fun with this. The response came back almost instantly. Permission granted. Have fun. The galaxy would never be the same. The Galactic Institute for Advanced Studies prided itself on being the most prestigious research facility in known space. Its crystalline towers house the finest minds from 10,000 civilizations, all dedicated to understanding the universe's greatest mysteries. Today, they face their most perplexing challenge yet: understanding human fun. Director Kazarn, a being of pure energy contained within an advanced environmental suit, stared through the observation window at their latest test subject. Dr. Emma Rodriguez, Earth's leading expert in experimental physics, sat in a sterile white room, humming to herself while solving complex mathematical equations on a holoboard. She had volunteered for what the Institute called Project Understanding, though most humans would have called it stating the obvious. Subject has been presented with 37 impossible theoretical problems. Kazarn dictated into the research log. Response to each has been concerning. In the chamber, Emma completed another equation with a flourish, then stretched. These are fun, she called out to the observation team. Got anything harder? Several of the alien scientists reflexively activated their personal shield generators. Over the past 3 weeks, they had learned to fear that word almost as much as its more powerful cousin phrase. We have compiled data from 57 test sessions, continued Kazarn, trying to maintain scientific detachment. The human subjects consistently exhibit increased performance when they designate a task as fun. Efficiency increases by an average of 278.3%, with success rates in impossible scenarios jumping to statistically improbable levels. Through the window, Emma had begun juggling 3 quantum probability spheres, objects designed to be impossible to synchronize due to their random phase-shifting nature. She was doing it while reciting pi backwards. The most disturbing finding, Kazarn added, is that human fun appears to be contagious. Indeed, several younger researchers have begun showing troubling signs. Just yesterday, a Voltairean physicist had suggested they try something fun with the antimatter containment protocols. The Institute's board of directors had immediately ordered mandatory quarantine procedures. The research facility's AI chimed in. Alert! Human subject is now attempting to calculate the inverse quantum state of a paradox loop while dancing what she calls the Macarena. Kazarn's energy form flickered in distress. End observation period immediately. Initiate sterilization protocol. Wait. Emma called out, still dancing. I think I just solved the unified field theory. Want to see something really fun? The facility's automated fun prevention protocol activated instantly. Blast doors slammed shut. Emergency beacons flared. 3 nearby star systems began emergency evacuation procedures. But it was too late. The infection had spread. In the following days, reports flooded in from across the Institute. A team of hive-mind researchers had started experimenting with what they called recreational quantum tunneling. A group of traditionally stoic mechanoid scientists had initiated what they termed a fun optimization protocol for faster-than-light travel, involving methods that made traditional physicists emit distress signals. The final straw came when Kazarn themselves, after 3 decades of purely logical research, suggested they try something fun with the space-time continuum. The board of directors immediately shut down the entire facility for decontamination. Dr. Rodriguez was politely but firmly asked to leave, though not before several young researchers secretly asked her to explain this thing called jokes. As she boarded her ship, Emma received a message from Earth's diplomatic corps. Mission accomplished. How was the research project? Her response was immediate. Most fun I've had in years. Phase 1 of operation. Galaxy's Got Talent is complete. Several promising candidates have been enlightened. Permission to proceed with Phase 2. The reply came with a priority tag. Granted. Have fun. Try not to break too many laws of physics this time. Emma grinned as her ship broke orbit. Behind her, the Institute's sensors detected unauthorized experiments in 3 different dimensions, 2 probability matrices, and what appeared to be an attempt to tickle a black hole. The infection had begun. Soon, the galaxy would learn that fun wasn't just a human weakness, it was their greatest strength, and it was spreading. In the ship's log, Emma made her final entry. Project Understanding status. Successful beyond wildest expectations. Side note. Turns out even energy beings can laugh. Who knew? The galaxy would never be quite so serious again. The Galactic Council's emergency broadcast interrupted every communication channel across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. The Void Swarm, a massive collection of space-time anomalies that consumed everything in its path, had changed course. It was heading straight for the most populated sector of the galaxy. Admiral Lyra Patel of the Earth Defense Force stood on the bridge of the EDS Prometheus, watching the swirling mass of darkness approach on the quantum imaging display. Behind her, representatives from 15 different species argued over evacuation protocols and defensive strategies. The swarm has already consumed 3 star systems, announced High Counselor Vex Thor's hologram. Our most advanced computations give us approximately 48 standard hours before it reaches the Centauri cluster. We must begin immediate evacuation off. Actually, Lyra interrupted, causing several alien diplomats to flinch reflexively. I have a different idea. The chamber fell silent. Everyone recognized that tone. It was the same tone that had preceded the infamous solar surfing incident that had somehow ended 3 interstellar wars. Admiral Patel. Vex Thor's crystalline form vibrated with concern. Please tell me you're not about to say, "Oh yeah." Lyra grinned. This is going to be fun. The emergency broadcasts immediately switched to evacuation warnings. Across the sector, ships began jumping to hyperspace. 3 different species initiated their extinction protocols. But Lyra was already moving. Get me Dr. Rodriguez and the research team from the Institute incident, she commanded. And someone find that Voltairean physicist who tried to tickle a black hole. We're going to need that kind of thinking. Within hours, the Prometheus had become the center of what the Council termed a confluence of dangerous irrationality. Dr. Emma Rodriguez had arrived with a team of her converted alien scientists, including Kazarn, who now sported what they insisted was a fun hat atop their energy form. The Void Swarm operates on principles of chaos and entropy, Emma explained to the assembled team. Traditional defenses fail because they try to impose order on it. But what if instead we matched its chaos with our own? Finished Kazarn, their energy form flickering with what could only be described as excitement. The plan they developed violated 13 fundamental laws of physics, 27 safety protocols, and what one species called the sacred geometry of sanity. It involved converting the Prometheus into what Emma termed a cosmic joke machine. You want to make the Void Swarm laugh? Asked Vex Thor incredulously. Think about it, Lyra explained. The swarm consumes order and predictability. But has it ever encountered human chaos? Our fun. The next 48 hours saw the most bizarre preparation for battle in galactic history. The Prometheus's engines were modified to run on what Kazarn called pure whimsy. Dr. Rodriguez installed a quantum humor amplifier that she'd invented during a particularly entertaining afternoon. The Voltairean physicist, now wearing a novelty bow tie, calculated how to turn the ship's shield harmonics into what he called a cosmic tickle beam. As the Void Swarm approached, Lyra addressed her crew. What we're about to do is completely insane, probably impossible, and definitely against at least 100 regulations. In other words, this is going to be fun. The entire crew, human and alien alike, shouted in unison. The Prometheus charged straight into the heart of the swarm, broadcasting a mixture of human laughter, joy, and pure, unfiltered fun on all frequencies. The ship's modified shields created patterns that defied rational geometry, powered by the crew's combined sense of adventure. The impossible happened. The void swarm, faced with something it couldn't predict or consume, began to change. Where it touched the ship's shields, the darkness began to swirl with colors. The chaos of human fun proved more powerful than the chaos of destruction. "It's working," Emma shouted, watching as the swarm began to dance. Actually dance, around the ship. The fundamental forces of the universe respond to joy. Within hours, the void swarm had been transformed into what scientists would later classify as a cosmic celebration, a swirling mass of light and energy that now followed the Prometheus like an enormous space-time puppy. As the danger passed, Lyra received a message from Earth Command. Mission successful. Threat neutralized. Though we're curious about the reports of the void swarm now performing what appears to be synchronized swimming in 4 dimensions. Her response was simple. Just wait until we teach it to play fetch. The galaxy had learned a vital lesson. Sometimes the best way to face chaos wasn't with order, but with a different kind of chaos. The uniquely human chaos of fun. Kazarn, still wearing their fun hat, summed it up best. Perhaps the universe isn't meant to make sense. Perhaps it's meant to be fun. The void swarm, now dubbed the Cosmic Carnival by human observers, seemed to agree. The Galactic Council's Department of Human Management occupied an entire space station, staffed by the most serious bureaucrats from 1,000 worlds. Their latest initiative, dubbed the Fun Directive, was their most ambitious attempt yet to regulate humanity's most dangerous weapon, their ability to have fun. Director Zixtal, a methodical being composed of living mathematics, presented the new regulations to an assembled group of diplomatic representatives. The holoscreen behind them displayed a 10,000-page document titled Guidelines for the Assessment, Control, and Prevention of Human Recreational Activities, with special attention to the phrase, "This will be fun." "We have categorized every known instance of human fun," Zixtal announced, their equations shifting with pride. Each activity has been assigned a threat level and appropriate containment protocols. In the audience, Ambassador Maria Santos of Earth tried very hard to keep a straight face. Next to her, Dr. James Morrison, the xenopsychologist from the original Fun Prevention Protocol incident, wasn't even attempting to hide his amusement. The presentation continued. Category 1, Basic Human Entertainment, requires standard monitoring. Category 2, Moderate Risk Activities, requires regional alert status. Category 3, Activities preceded by "This might be fun," immediate evacuation of local spacetime. The list went on, becoming increasingly specific and absurd. There were subsections for human smiling intensities and laughter wavelength analysis. One particularly detailed chapter covered the exponential danger increase when multiple humans exchange looks of anticipation. Furthermore, Zixtal continued, all human diplomatic personnel must now file fun intent forms at least 3 standard cycles before engaging in any activity that might be considered enjoyable. Maria raised her hand. Question: if filing the paperwork itself becomes fun, do we need to file additional paperwork about having fun filing the paperwork? The station's emergency containment protocols activated automatically as several bureaucrats began experiencing logic cascades. But the galaxy's attempt to regulate fun was about to face its greatest challenge. As Zixtal struggled to process Maria's question, alerts began flooding in from across known space. The fun infection that had started at the Galactic Institute had spread further than anyone realized. Reports described hive mind researchers organizing spontaneous dance parties in their quantum laboratories. A group of traditionally stoic mechanoids had established what they called the Joy Subroutine Optimization Committee. Even the Crystalline Collective, known for their rigid adherence to logic, had begun experimenting with what they termed recreational symmetry violation. The turning point came during a crucial trade negotiation. 2 species, locked in a century-long dispute over mineral rights, were stunned when their ambassadors simultaneously suggested they try something fun to resolve the conflict. The resulting zero-gravity badminton tournament became the new standard for interstellar dispute resolution. Director Zixtal watched in horror as their carefully constructed regulations crumbled. This is unprecedented. The fun is spreading faster than we can regulate it. You know what's really fun? Dr. Morrison commented to no one in particular, watching bureaucrats try to categorize joy. The station's AI immediately initiated emergency lockdown procedures, but it was too late. The containment protocols themselves had somehow become entertaining, with species across the galaxy making games out of predicting when and where the next fun-induced evacuation would occur. Maria received an urgent message from Earth's diplomatic corps. Operation Joy Virus proceeding better than expected. The galaxy is learning to laugh at itself. Continue monitoring and encourage further spontaneous fun outbreaks. She looked around the station, where even now some of the younger bureaucrats were beginning to show dangerous signs of enjoying their work. One had even been caught using colorful icons in their threat assessment matrices. You know, Maria announced to the chamber, trying to regulate fun might be the funniest thing the galaxy has ever done. The resulting evacuation set new records for both speed and, surprisingly, the number of beings smiling as they fled. Back on Earth, the diplomatic corps added another entry to their unofficial guide. When the galaxy tries to regulate human fun, the only appropriate response is to have more fun doing it. Director Zixtal eventually submitted their resignation, citing an unauthorized development of a sense of humor. Their final official act was to add a footnote to the fun directive. Warning: attempting to regulate human fun may result in experiencing fun yourself. There is no known cure. The galaxy was learning that some forces couldn't be contained by regulations. Fun, it seemed, found a way. 5 years after the implementation of the fun directive, the Galactic Council faced an unprecedented situation. The annual State of the Galaxy address wasn't being held in their traditional austere chamber, but rather in what humans had dubbed the Cosmic Comedy Club, formerly the Void Swarm, now a popular tourist destination, where species from across the galaxy gathered to experience the peculiar sensation of joy. High Counselor Vexthor, their crystalline form now permanently tinted with swirls of playful colors, addressed the assembled representatives. We gather here to acknowledge what may be the most significant transformation in galactic history. We try to contain human fun. We try to regulate it. We try to understand it. In doing so, we learned something profound. Fun cannot be contained because it is not a threat. It is an evolution. The audience, a mix of traditional diplomats and what the Council now officially termed fun-enlightened beings, watched as holographic displays showed the changes across the galaxy. The Galactic Institute for Advanced Studies had become renowned for its creative chaos department. The Mechanoid Collective had upgraded their primary directives to include experiential joy optimization. Even the Heigmans had developed what they called recreational consciousness expansion. Admiral Lyra Patel, now heading the newly formed Department of Interstellar Joy Integration, took the stage. Behind her, the transformed Void Swarm performed what appeared to be an interpretive dance about quantum physics. When we first encountered the galaxy, Lyra began, we were seen as a danger because we found fun in the impossible. What no one realized was that this wasn't our weakness. It was our gift to the universe. The ability to laugh in the face of the impossible, to find joy in the unknown, to dance with chaos instead of fighting it. Dr. Emma Rodriguez, whose fun infection had started it all, presented the latest research data. We've documented a 300% increase in successful impossible solutions across all species that have embraced the concept of fun. The galaxy isn't just surviving better, it's thriving better. The evidence was undeniable. The former Department of Human Management, now called the Bureau of Creative Solutions, had cataloged thousands of cases where fun-based approaches had solved previously intractable problems. Species that had been at war for millennia now resolved conflicts through what they called competitive creativity challenges. Ancient enemies had become friends through shared laughter. Kazarn, still wearing their infamous fun hat, now adorned with tiny holographic dancers, presented a case study. When the quantum anomaly threatened the Andromeda Array, the traditional response would have been evacuation and containment. Instead, a mixed team of humans and fun-enlightened beings organized what they called a quantum poetry slam. The anomaly not only stabilized but began contributing its own verses. The transformed galaxy had become something no one could have predicted. The fun directive, intended to contain human unpredictability, had instead become a guide for spreading joy across the stars. Even the most serious species had learned that there was strength in laughter, power in play, and wisdom in wondering, what if we tried something fun? Ambassador Maria Santos, watching from Earth via quantum projection, received her final official message from the diplomatic corps. Operation Galaxy's Got Talent status. Complete success. Humanity's greatest export wasn't our technology or our strength. It was our ability to find joy in the impossible. As the address concluded, High Counselor Vex Thor made an unprecedented announcement. The Council hereby officially recognizes this will be fun, not as a warning phrase, but as a declaration of hope. In honor of this, I suggest we try something that has never been done in Council history. The entire assembly, representing tens of thousands of civilizations, leaned forward in anticipation. Vex Thor's crystalline form sparkled with mischief, an expression they had learned from humans. Let's have some fun with the laws of physics. For the first time in galactic history, the emergency evacuation protocols activated to the sound of unified laughter from every species present. The galaxy had finally understood. Fun wasn't just a human quirk, it was the next step in cosmic evolution. The universe, it turned out, had a sense of humor. It just needed humanity to help it learn how to laugh. And somewhere, in the vast expanse of space, the transformed void swarm continued its eternal dance, a living testament to the power of finding joy in the impossible. It had become a reminder that sometimes the best way to face the unknown wasn't with fear or force, but with a smile and those three simple words. This will be fun.